What I'm going to read to you here in the next few minutes, this radically changed my life at critical times when I was struggling with how I saw myself. You know, as I was growing up, like many of you, I had all kinds of shame in my life. I was a kid who, it didn't get good grades. And I remember being ridiculed and mocked when I was in junior high. And students would call me stupid and dumb. Even some teachers in front of the class would make statements about me not being very smart. And I remember sitting there, and it was so wounded to me. I'll be honest with you, as a grown man in my 40s, to this day, this is 30-some, 40 years later, here I am, still with those haunting words that were spoken over me. And I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. And I can sit here and look back and feel that same sense of shame and regret. I wish I didn't do that, and I let people down, and it just eats us all up inside. I came to this passage. The passage I'm going to share with you right now was revolutionary for me in finding my identity in Christ. Here's what Paul said. He says it this way in 2 Corinthians 5:17. He says, therefore, if anyone is, and here's the phrase right here, this is the big secret, in Christ. If anyone is in Christ, and I'll explain that. If anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come, the old has gone, the new is here. What does that statement mean, in Christ? Let me just tell you this right now, that throughout the rest of the New Testament, Paul's going to use that phrase over and over again. I sat down one time, and I grabbed my concordance, and I looked up that phrase, in Christ, or in him. And it was repeated dozens of times. And I realized that there was a promise of identity attached to every phrase that says in Christ, in him. In Christ, then there's an actual promise about how God sees us, how he wants to bless us. So everywhere you see in the New Testament, that phrase, those who are in Christ, that's an identity statement. When you are in Christ and you find your identifying there, always there's connected to it a blessing that God has, what he wants to speak over us, what he wants to provide for us, what he wants to do in us and through us. The secret to you and I finding and discovering our identity is when we choose to identify with the in Christ.